And I'm so glad you could join us to see it. Look forward to your company next time on The Chase Australia. We'll play.
Extraordinary scenes from the United States. Police stations set alight, gunfire ringing out across the country. As we come on the air tonight, cities now battlegrounds.
Run, Cam! Come!
The military called in as rioters take control. Mauled by lions, a South Coast zookeeper rushed to hospital, her hero co-workers praised as lifesavers. Centrelink backtrack hundreds of thousands of Australians to be refunded as the government's robo-debt scheme is scrapped. No fear, the female shopkeeper who stared down an armed robber. Radio silence. After 35 years on the air, a giant of Australian airwaves, Alan Jones, says goodbye. Fighting for your dollars, the stores offering lower prices and longer to pay off your purchase. And exclusive, disgraced shark Bronson Xerri and his parents meet with lawyers following his positive drug test.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Michael Usher.
Good evening. America's military is tonight on the burning streets of Minneapolis, where rioting crowds have taken over and set fire to multiple police stations. Gunshots and tear gas are being fired through the night as a city's rage over the deadly arrest of a black citizen escalates. Our US Bureau Chief, Ashley Mullaney, is on the ground in what is an increasingly dangerous standoff.
A city igniting.
The building just exploded! Oh my God!
Officers outnumbered.
There are gunshots coming from the crowd.
In Minneapolis tonight, police are enemy number one. As the days worn on, the situation's only become more volatile. Protesters have knocked down the fence at the police station, officers firing flash grenades back, and it looks like a building just down the road has now been torched. Armed officers driven out of their station. The crowd surged in.
This is the 3rd precinct right here.
Taking control and resources. A race riot live streamed.
There's a fire started.
Outside, thousands then watched the station burn. Heaping fuel on a bonfire and attacking police as they left, knowing their message to the world is now explosively clear.
It's been going on for way too long, and it stops now.
The city awoke smouldering. It didn't take long to reignite. This latest police killing has once again exposed a fault line running deep through the heart of America. These protesters aren't just angry, they're enraged. Run, Cam! 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 This way! Come on, get back to the car! Hang on. A protester stabbed, no police to respond. Thousands demanding justice for George Floyd, black, unarmed and suffocated under the knee of a policeman. But justice wasn't coming today.
And there is other evidence that does not support a criminal charge. We need to wade through all of that evidence.
What evidence do you need? What more investigation do you need for what is on that videotape?
Despite the anarchy, investigators say they won't be rushed.
If they want this to stop, they need to hold those officers accountable.
People of color shouldn't be getting killed. We all matter.
The National Guard is now on the ground, a state of emergency declared, as anger again explodes across this country. 7 shot in Kentucky. President Trump tweeted he won't stand back and watch this, warning when the looting starts, the shooting starts.
And Ashley Mullaney is live for us now in Minneapolis. Ash, just extraordinary vision there, so volatile. Looking at those pictures, it seems like anywhere around you could erupt again with just a spark.
Yeah, it really has been anarchy here in Minneapolis today, and you can see there are still buildings burning behind me. And you're right, Mush, it can feel like things are easing off 1 minute and then they just reignite the next. We had to retreat from that police station earlier tonight because we could hear gunshots right around us. Even the paramedics decided to pack up and leave. There's really no indication, no clear answers on when this will all be resolved or come to a resolution, but the President is now vowing to intervene. Michael.
All right, Ash, you and your cameraman, please stay low. Thank you. An experienced zookeeper was left fighting for life this morning after she was attacked by 2 lions while cleaning their enclosure. The confronting scene unfolded at Shoalhaven Zoo on the state's south coast. The woman's colleagues rushing to fight the animals off.
Friends say lions are her life, but this morning they almost ended it. 35-year-old Jennifer Brown was cleaning the enclosure like she'd done so many times before when she was attacked by 2 large male lions.
Initially, I've got to say, since I was first on scene, it was a little bit daunting.
Jennifer was left with critical injuries, mauled around the neck and head. But it could have been deadly if it weren't for the brave actions of her colleagues who rushed in to save her.
There was some good work by the other employees at the zoo that responded swiftly, was able to secure the lions.
The tight-knit team at Shoalhaven shaken, watching on as the experienced zookeeper was treated for more than 2 hours before being flown to St George Hospital. Paramedics have described the terrifying scene that confronted them. When they entered the lion's den, not only was the victim fighting for life, but the lions that attacked her were still there.
I've never been in a lion's den before, to be quite fair, but the fact is I was getting my priorities right and focusing on the patient care.
In 2014, at the same zoo, another employee was attacked by a crocodile.
If there's matters that can be made safer, we'll be certainly having a look at that.
Both lions remain secured. What happens to them next is unknown.
And Peter Fegan's at St George Hospital tonight. Peter, good evening. You have a medical update on the zookeeper tonight.
I do, Michael. Jennifer Brown remains in a critical but stable condition. Her workmates and the emergency services did an incredible job saving her life. But Michael, as we know, lion attacks are extremely rare here in Australia. So both the New South Wales Police and Safe Work New South Wales are now investigating exactly what took place this morning. But of course, they'll learn more when Jennifer is well enough to speak to them. Michael?
All right, Peter Fegan at St George Hospital, thank you for that. Well, as political retreats go, this one is big. A late Friday afternoon backflip by the government, abandoning the $720 million so-called robo-debt scheme targeting Centrelink recipients. More than 400,000 people will now be refunded, the government finally admitting the process was flawed.
Stuart Robert takes the Friday afternoon ministerial walk of shame, rubbing out robo-debt.
In good faith, the government will be repaying those debts to those Australian people.
470,000 individual debts to 373,000 people, totalling $721 million.
The whole basis for the government to take money off vulnerable Centrelink recipients was illegal.
Computer cross-matching of Tax Office and Centrelink data automatically sent out debt notices demanding the welfare repayments. The government was facing a massive class action after a federal court ruling last November deemed one of the debts illegal, the minister deciding to pay out.
That's the refinement, that's the update.
And it's not a refinement.
He says it is the largest class action settlement in Australian history, ending 4 years of heartache for thousands of welfare recipients.
It's been putting ordinary Australians through pain, trauma. People have lost jobs, people have lost relationships.
It's important that the government provides the right amount of money to the right people at the right time.
The repayments will begin automatically from July 1. The Friday afternoon bad news drop is becoming a habit. Last week it was the $60 billion JobKeeper blunder. Today, $750 million, just minutes after the Prime Minister had finished his National Cabinet news conference. There was no agreement on the reopening of state borders, but
COAG is no more.
The National Cabinet to replace the COAG Premiers' conferences with monthly video meetings.
The National Cabinet will be driven by a singular agenda, and that is to create jobs.
Pointing towards a new future for the Federation. Mark Riley, 7 News.
More help is on the way for small businesses struggling with the impact of coronavirus. 7 News can reveal $10,000 support grants will be extended with applications open for another month. But many people will still miss out.
Great White Tattoo Kirrawee opened just 6 months, then forced to shut up shop.
It's really hard. We're definitely struggling. We're very keen to get back to work.
Brooke didn't qualify for a $10,000 small business grant because her tattooists are subcontractors, not employees.
They don't actually earn a wage from our business, so that locks us out of that help.
The state government allocated $750 million to the program, 40,000 applications received. Almost $400 million will be paid out, leaving $350 million left over.
The state government should be paying every dollar they promised to small businesses in emergency support.
Labor calling for eligibility to be expanded to include more businesses that missed out.
We're always open to looking at these programs in ways in which we can improve them.
The first change, extending the program. Applications will no longer close on Monday, but the end of next month instead.
Every dollar in this program will go to keeping people in work.
The problem for many people, tattooists among them, is they're not allowed to work. The fitness industry has been given some hope today. Gyms possibly reopening within a month.
But there's still some work to do, but hopefully it won't be months away, it'll be hopefully weeks.
Event Cinemas is opening on July 17 and the prayers of the faithful have been answered, restrictions easing on worship, weddings and funerals from Monday.
This was a joint effort of all the churches and all the faiths, it wasn't just the Catholics.
Health officials cautiously welcoming the latest results. 2 new cases in New South Wales out of almost 10,000 more tests. Both returned travellers in quarantine.
With the virus still present, the risk of outbreaks and a resurgence of cases remains.
Alex Hart, 7 News.
He's hung up the earphones, switched off the microphone. Legendary broadcaster Alan Jones has retired from radio. The 79-year-old today signed off his final breakfast show after an extraordinary career spanning 35 years on air.
Before the loudest voice in radio fell silent, a chance to reminisce.
Jane Fonda, Mr Greg Norman, Smokin' Joe Frazier, Prime Minister Mr Bob Hawke, News Corporation, Chairman Rupert Murdoch, billionaire Donald Trump.
Love or loathe, there has been no more influential broadcaster.
They want a fight, they'll get a fight.
The former Wallabies coach, fans say, that went on to coach the nation.
Prime Minister, good morning.
And today, the talkback tributes flowed.
It's an extraordinary career by any estimation.
Prime Ministers present and past.
Tony Abbott, my God, how wonderful. They brought some grog with them.
Some won't miss him, and surely many won't miss these.
The man said, Doctor, I swallowed a sheep. The doctor said, how do you feel? The man said, bad. You meant to laugh.
But some comments lately had cost him and 2GB dearly.
To the legal team, I've driven them nuts, I'm sure.
But he insists that wasn't what pushed him, it was doctor's orders. Might not be easy for replacement Ben Fordham either.
And what a wet hanky you've given the reins to. Can't wait to squash him like an ant, my friends.
So, radio silence for Alan Jones. The question now perhaps is, does this mark the end of the era of the shock jock? Experts saying 2GB and new owners 9 are now going middle of the road to try and claw lost sponsors back.
They could go back to those advertisers now and say, look, the problem's gone. It's safe.
6,500 shows, an incredible 226 survey wins.
So that's it from me. Together in spirit always, but for now, goodbye.
Chris Reason, 7 News.
Police have set up separate task forces to investigate 2 disturbing cases where people have died falling from balconies in the past week. In both incidents, those with them say it was an accident, but police are keeping an open mind.
Arriving home to a crime scene, Steve Hanrahan was with mates last night when one died.
He fell off the balcony and that's what happened.
The 64-year-old fell 5 stories. He'd arrived that afternoon with Steve and 2 other friends. They say they didn't see how he fell. They were questioned, one arrested for breaching an AVO. Detectives are trying to work out what happened and for now are treating it as suspicious.
No, I don't think it was pushed. No one would have a motive to do that.
There is some indication that the occupants may have been intoxicated.
And it's not the only suspicious case police are investigating. Here in the city last Friday night, a woman fell from the balcony of her 10th floor hotel room where she'd been staying with her partner. Jodie Lovell couldn't be saved. Her boyfriend was questioned, allegedly saying he'd locked her on the balcony after an argument, and when he returned, she was gone. Officers are testing that version, scaling the hotel and bringing in mannequins to recreate the fall.
We need to be absolutely robust and thorough in what we do.
They want to speak with anyone who saw anything that night or know of any past problems the pair may have had.
This woman was at the prime of her life. She has 2 young daughters. We owe it to the daughters, we owe it to her family and friends.
Andrew Denny, 7 News.
A Sydney mother's been jailed for 5 years over a series of cruel punishments to a 4-year-old boy. The Doonside woman, who can't be identified, forced the child to drink Dettol, causing him to vomit. On other occasions, she tied him to a chair under a cold shower and forced him to sit atop a 2-metre freezer, causing him to fall. The child is now in foster care. An armed would-be thief has met his match after trying to rob a Punch Bowl convenience store. The plucky shop attendant behind the counter barely flinched, despite having a gun pointed at her face.
A skeleton mask and a huge revolver. It's a scary combination for most, but this Punch Bowl shopkeeper was unfazed.
I just kept saying, give me a second, because in my mind I was just thinking, what should I do?
Staring down the gun-wielding bandit last Friday, she was defenceless but kept her cool.
In the moment, you just don't know how you're going to act, and that was how I acted.
As he became desperate, her resolve only strengthened. She told the man someone else was about to walk into the store and catch him. It worked. Out of options, he ran from the shop, spooked.
I was just angry, and I didn't want to give up anything, so he went out empty-handed, which I was happy with.
Police praised her bravery.
You've got a male hiding behind a mask, under the cover of a hoodie, committing an unspeakable act of cowardice.
But they warned her actions could have had serious consequences. Police say the man spent about 10 minutes here on the corner of Wattle Street and Acacia Avenue before he put on his mask and pulled out a gun. They believe someone will have dashcam vision from that time that will lead to his arrest. They already have several security video angles of the suspect. He remains on the run for now. Tom Saker, 7 News.
The master of the freighter that lost 50 shipping containers off our coast last weekend is set to be charged with breaches of cargo rules and maritime pollution. His ship is already under arrest as authorities battle to collect the scattered containers, with 7 News given exclusive access to the $22 million operation.
Lifted back to land, APL England's lost containers hauled to shore one by one up the Hawkesbury River. The complex clean-up led by New South Wales Maritime.
We're dealing with both buoyant and submerged containers.
This one so badly damaged its contents spill as it's moved.
As time unfolds, this operation is getting larger and more complex, so we now have shoreline impacts all the way far north.
10 more containers confirmed missing, bringing the total loss to 50, 15 found so far. A crisis headquarters has been set up to deal with a sea of debris, now stretching from Wollongong to Port Stephens and growing.
So what they've done here is that's where all the debris is coming.
At Crackneck Point on the Central Coast, containers are stuck on remote rocks, out of reach.
It may end up that we have to use helicopters to remove these from these isolated parts.
Crews are in a race against time and the changing currents. Containers from up and down the coast are being tugged here to Mooney Mooney before being lifted out by crane. With items likely to wash up for weeks, we're being urged not to collect them, but to contact New South Wales Maritime. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
Sally Barry joins us now. Sal, good evening. Cold today, so what's the weekend looking like?
Well, Michael, we've seen a few showers this afternoon, but they have dried up and we've got some clear skies ahead right now in the city, though. It is 16 degrees. It feels more like 13 degrees thanks to those southwesterly winds. We did see a few bands of showers also this afternoon. Falls were patchy and light, though. The city saw around 6 millimetres in the gauges. Lighter falls at Canterbury and Terry Hills, around 2 to 3 millimetres there. We've reached a top of 15.9 degrees in the CBD today. Much warmer in the west, though, just a fraction under 20 degrees at Penrith. Tomorrow, the high will clear skies across Sydney, although the leftover moisture from today's showers might just set up the perfect environment for some fog patches, particularly in the western suburbs tomorrow morning. But I'll have the full forecast a little later, Michael.
Terrific, Sally. Thank you. Well, criminals are targeting the city's most vulnerable people in a shocking new wave of attacks. After the break, a man and his guide dog, the latest victims. Opening up, Prince William tackles mental health with an insight to his own battles. Later, Australian-made, the famous campaign, revamped and relaunched 3 decades on. Plus 5 years, no interest. What you need to know about those hard-to-resist offers. Soon in sport, we'll hear from the emotional parents of a young Rabbitoh set for a baptism of fire.
Hello, Daniel. Are you ready for next Monday, 7:30?
I played footy for Gold Coast. Oh, nice. I got sacked. Was lucky enough to get picked up by Carlton. They sacked me again.
They may have sacked you, but I've chosen you.
I gotta be me.
Have you got what it takes to be the last one in my house?
Didn't really believe I could play footy, but I believe I can win this.
I am Big Brother, and I'll see you next Monday, 7:30.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this NRL season one to remember. If your team leads at halftime, you win. That's right. Lead at the half and we'll pay you out straight away as a winner. PointsBet.
Customers in New South Wales told us on average they saved $209 by switching their comprehensive car insurance, and on average they saved $301 by switching their combined home and contents insurance online to Budget Direct. So who should you switch to? Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
If you're experiencing abuse or domestic violence, contact 1-800-RESPECT for free, confidential advice and counselling, online and by phone 24/7. There's no place for abuse or domestic violence. Help is here. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Some people might see superannuation funds as a sea of sameness. But some super members belong to a fund that's dedicated only to them. Sun Super's stress-tested investment strategies have delivered strong long-term returns that have beaten the industry average over 3, 5, 7 and 10 years. Join our 1.4 million members and feel the strength of Sun Super.
When life gives you messiness, Godfrey's Stocktake sale gives you cleanliness. Ecovac Steambot 600 robot, $299, save $100. iVac Steam Mop, $59, save $40. Godfrey's cleanliness.
The Nick Scali Autumn Sale ends Sunday. Save on a great range of quality furniture. The Nick Scali Autumn Sale. Must end this Sunday. Hurry.
With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you contact-free. Get free delivery every weekend on Macca's orders $25 or more via the Uber Eats app. Visit Macca's social pages for this weekend's promo code.
Let's do it, baby.
It's on, mate.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get best tote on all exotics on every race across all Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Adelaide races. PointsBet.
A teenager suffered severe burns to his face, hands and legs when his fishing boat exploded near Tom Ugley's Bridge in Sydney South this morning. The 19-year-old was flown to the burns unit at Concord Hospital. He was with 3 mates who were treated for smoke inhalation. Police are still investigating how that fire started. Sworn at, punched in the head, spat on, his guide dog kicked. It's what police say a blind man had to endure on a Sydney train when a 24-year-old commuter suddenly unleashed.
Odin is named after a Viking god, but there is nothing tough about him.
He's just so gentle and loving.
His job is to keep David Gearan safe.
Find left. Steady.
But it was David who had to protect his guide dog and himself, allegedly from Port Macquarie man Jack Marr.
I won't lie, it was very frightening.
David was on a train near Blacktown Station when police say Marr accused him of being an undercover cop, saying Odin was a sniffer dog before laying into both of them with kicks and punches.
I felt Odin pushed against me and yelped, and I knew he'd been hit.
And I don't think that person would even know or understand the depth of damage that can be caused.
The volley of blows was thwarted by heroic rail staff, including an off-duty driver who accompanied David off the train.
Jack Marr's bail hearing was brief but colourful. He snorted through most of it, burped, earned a rebuke for calling the magistrate mate, pleaded guilty to assaulting David and Odin, not guilty to sexually touching a teenage girl before immediately changing his mind, swearing at the magistrate, saying, "I'll plead guilty to that as well."
Bail was refused. The magistrate has already flagged jail time.
I just hope he can get some help and try to turn it around.
Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
Tidal flooding has hit Bali, swamping tourist hotspots along the coast. Powerful waves surged inland, hammering the shoreline, including the popular Seminyak Beach. Floodwaters have shut down some parts of the island following 3 days of wild weather. There are still warnings in place for much of the southern coast. Archaeologists have made an incredible underwater discovery off Mexico's Caribbean coast. They uncovered the remains of a 200-year-old shipwreck. It's believed to belong to a late 18th or early 19th century English ship which sank in an area known as Nightmare Reef. While most of the wood has rotted away, the ship's cannon and an anchor are well preserved. The Duke of Cambridge has revealed the clever trick he uses to cope with anxiety as he opened up about coping with life in the spotlight. Prince William has made a TV documentary breaking down the taboos surrounding mental health, encouraging men to talk about their problems.
For a year, the Duke of Cambridge has been visiting English football clubs with a camera crew in tow, not to talk sport, but mental health, taking on the role of counsellor.
Do you think it's the team environment? Do you think that helps? The idea that lots of guys together can talk and feel like it's
I think so.
Shared experience?
It's led to some remarkably candid conversations at the ground and in the pub as he gets amateurs and professionals talking.
It will sound pathetic, but it's the truth. It's not playing and not being wanted. Yeah.
The men of Britain opening up to the Prince.
Your dad would be very proud of you. He would. You'll your mum would. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm all strong, I'm all, I don't talk about stuff and I'm just hard. Well, that's great. You can still do that, but let's talk about stuff that's going on as well, like real stuff.
William makes an admission too about how he deals with anxiety and nerves when delivering a speech.
I'm now wearing contact lenses. Yeah. My eyesight started to sort of tail off a little bit as I got older, and I didn't used to wear contacts when I was working. So actually when I gave speeches, I couldn't see anyone's face. What? And it helps, because it's just a blur of faces.
Prince William has deliberately targeted football, Britain's most popular sport, as a way of opening up conversations about mental health, particularly for men, believing the taboos surrounding the topic harks back to the world wars. And now there's a new challenge to confront.
We've got this global pandemic, which is unprecedented. It's scary.
Saying more support is going to be needed. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
They're the infamous letters behind Australia's biggest political controversy. Now, royal correspondence linked to the Whitlam dismissal can finally be revealed. A coward punch killer handed more jail time after a bikie showdown behind bars. Multi-million-dollar upgrade, the hospital overhaul for our booming southwest. And Trump turns on Twitter, the president's big move to punish social media. That's next.
It's already been a season like no other.
I've been kicking the footy with my kids.
I've been playing in the backyard.
But the time has come.
Now we're back. We can't wait to be on the field.
To witness them in battle, there's nothing on earth like it. When they cross that white line, they become something else.
There it is, there it is! Got to get going, I've got to be bold.
And he's got it. When the footy returns, go to the footy on 7.
Go to the footy on 7. Go to the footy on 7.
The season returns Thursday, June 11.
Smart Aussies are future-proofing their homes and cutting their energy bills with Solar Heart. Now you can join them with $1,500 off our solar hot water and solar power packages, plus 60 months interest-free. Get smart. Get Solar Heart.
Even remotely, our home loan specialists can zoom into your home to help you save on your next loan.
Customers in New South Wales told us on average they saved $209 by switching their comprehensive car insurance, and on average they saved $301 by switching their combined home and contents insurance online to Budget Direct. So who should you switch to? Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
The Nick Scardy Autumn Sale ends Sunday. Save on a great range of quality furniture. The Nick Scardy Autumn Sale. Must end this Sunday. Hurry.
Should I be worried?
With COVID-19 Health Assist, eligible members can receive health advice from hundreds of Medibank healthcare experts at no extra cost. See how we're providing better support today.
This Saturday with Sportsbet, get the best payout across all three tabs with top-toed exotics. Nail a quinella, trifecta or even the quaddie and you'll get the biggest return. Top-toed exotics from Sportsbet.
Physical distancing is stopping the spread.
If we keep doing this, businesses can still operate.
We can keep exercising.
And I can get to where I need to.
By continuing to distance, together we're saving lives.
With Light and Easy, you can still enjoy a huge variety of delicious, healthy meals in the comfort and safety of your home, thanks to their chefs and dietitians and their contactless delivery service. In fact, Light and Easy has recently been rated Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service, scoring 5 stars for customer satisfaction as well as taste, variety and freshness, all things you'll find on their autumn menu. Enjoy delicious, healthy meals with Light and Easy's contactless, award-winning delivery. Order today.
The High Court has ruled decades-old letters between the Queen and then Governor-General Sir John Kerr can finally be made public. Historians are hoping the palace letters will shed light on the dismissal of the Whitlam government.
Well may we say, God save the Queen.
The great mystery of the 1975 Whitlam government dismissal. Did the Queen play a role?
It's a story that has been absolutely clouded in secrecy, in distortion.
Did the Governor-General receive royal guidance as he pondered the Prime Minister's removal? The answer may lie in over 200 letters between the Governor-General Sir John Kerr and Buckingham Palace, kept secret for 40 years. Today the High Court found they can be released.
It would be great if it were conclusive either way. As an old Republican, I can't help hoping they find the palace was in it up to their necks.
Monarchists say the letters will be more mundane than explosive.
They want the Queen goading, or at least agreeing with Kerr, to sack Whitlam. There's the Queen saying, go ahead, get him, and that won't be there.
Once a British colony, today a win for Republicans, but at a time Australians are concentrating on COVID, not constitution. After a 4-year legal battle, historian Jenny Hocking hopes to be reading the letters next week at the National Archives.
There won't be anything to see on Tuesday morning.
Is there a chance you may be able to withhold some of the letters?
Well, I mean, the Act is very clear that, there may be.
Chris Marr, 7 News.
There's been a breakthrough in a story we brought you earlier this month with police arresting 2 men suspected of an attempted abduction at Ultimo. Security cameras captured a 19-year-old woman being followed outside the New South Wales TAFE before being grabbed and having hands placed over her mouth. The 2 men, aged 24 and 33, are now facing stalking and abduction charges. They'll front court in the coming days. The man who killed Thomas Kelly in a one-punch attack in King's Cross will spend extra time behind bars after assaulting another inmate. But the court heard Kieran Loveridge was placed in the same area as jailed rebels bikies. Despite a specific warning, he should be kept apart.
Inside Silverwater Jail, and the president of the Penrith Rebels bikie gang sits talking on the phone when, without warning, Kieran Loveridge lets fly. Guards are only metres away and quickly intervene to break up the pair as they wrestle.
The circumstances in which the offence was committed were both unusual and highly unfortunate, a matter of considerable concern.
Loveridge is serving time for the manslaughter of Thomas Kelly. Despite several warnings and red flags in the system, in 2018, the Lone Wolf bikie gang affiliate was thrown in with the rebels. The judge accepting he acted preemptively in self-defence.
Was done as a means which would guarantee his immediate removal from that pod. I am satisfied that he held genuine fears for his safety.
In sentencing, the judge said he'd heard from the Crown that this was either deliberate or a mistake that Loveridge was put into that pod with 14 members from a rival bikie gang. The acting manager had previously told the court he didn't know how it happened, and from Corrective Services today, a firm no comment. The court heard Loveridge believes he was stitched up by the guards, revenge for his alleged affair with guard Jodie Marson in 2015. She lost her job. Loveridge will be eligible for parole in June 2023. Evan Batten, 7 News.
Donald Trump has ramped up his war on Twitter after the social media site slapped fact-check labels on some of his posts. The president targeted social media companies with a new executive order in what he says is a defence of free speech.
Taking to Twitter a day after America passed 100,000 coronavirus deaths, Donald Trump marked a very sad milestone, even as he tries to crack down on the company and others.
We're here today to defend free speech.
President signing an executive order challenging a law that protects social media companies from being responsible for the content posted on their sites.
They can do what they want. They have a shield. They're not going to have that shield.
The president is still fuming over Twitter's fact-check label on a pair of his tweets about fraud on postal voting, insisting they want to censor in advance of the upcoming November election.
What they choose to fact-check and what they choose to ignore or even promote is nothing more than a political activism group or political activism.
In Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, he's found an unlikely ally.
We have a different policy, I think, than Twitter on this. Facebook shouldn't be the arbiter of truth of everything that people say online.
Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey hit back, saying his site's intention is to show information in dispute so people can judge for themselves. In the United States, Amelia Brace, 7 News.
7 News can reveal tonight how Liverpool Hospital will look after its $800 million revamp. The redevelopment includes major upgrades and new beds and parking, catering for the area's booming population.
A health, research and education precinct. This is the first look at the plans for the upgraded Liverpool Hospital.
It's been years in the making and I think everybody from the hospital and the community are so excited. They are so desperate. Consumers of Liverpool Hospital are really looking forward to this redevelopment.
The $790 million project will expand the emergency department, intensive care unit and operating theatres.
It'll make sure that those who really want to put cutting-edge health and research together have a place to come.
Once completed, the hospital will have 900 beds, 16 new birthing suites, 50 neonatal intensive care unit beds, plus 67 chemotherapy treatment spaces.
At the moment we're treating all of our patients here, but it's becoming increasingly difficult with the limited amount of space. So this is a perfect opportunity to be able to give patients a nicer space and a larger space.
And to help ease congestion, the pick-up and drop-off point will be upgraded and a new multi-storey car park built. Liverpool Hospital is already the biggest health service in southwestern Sydney. It will continue to run at full capacity while the redevelopment happens, so people in this area can still rely on the services delivered here. Construction begins early next year, with the project due to be complete by 2026. Miley Hogan, 7 News.
It was the advertising campaign that unified Australian shoppers. After the break, the return of Australian Made, now a rallying cry for the COVID recovery. Time to reopen a national landmarks plan to welcome back visitors. Retail temptation as competition heats up. Which finance offers work best for you?
And a few showers about, but there are clear skies ahead. The forecast soon.
So what triggers this guy? Or who?
Everything they've ever learned.
Where else do you go?
Everything they've ever done.
Who else do you hurt?
Has all been leading to this.
Us. They come after us.
The killer final season of Criminal Minds. Tuesday at 9 on 7.
We're coming to you live from the scene. Tell us what you've got there. Toilet paper?
Nah, just dinner stuff.
Right. You must have paid an unprecedented price for that during these unprecedented times.
Nah, they're from Aldi. Prices are always low.
Let's just go.
Whatever happens, our low prices are here to stay. Aldi. Good. Different.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
The Nick Scali Autumn Sale ends Sunday. Save on a great range of quality furniture. The Nick Scali Autumn Sale. Must end this Sunday. Hurry.
With Belong, you get 10 gigs of mobile data for $25 a month. That's 10 gigs of family time, 10 gigs of scrolling through memory lane, 10 gigs of staycations, or 10 gigs of catching up with the family. Plus, unlimited international calls and texts to selected countries for $5 extra. We all spend family time differently. Together, we're different. Belong.
Is your home bursting at the seams? Call Storage King. Whether you just need to create more space, kids homeschooling, working from home, or your family and business need to declutter, Storage King has the answer. With stores everywhere, there's a location just around the corner. Making Storage King the kings of storage, moving and more. Temporary or permanent solutions with no lock-in contracts and contactless move-in. Call now and let Storage King give you back some space.
The V6 twin-turbo, rear-wheel drive Kia Stinger. It took 7 years to create and 4.9 seconds to understand why.
Let's have a look at the markets now. The ASX closed down 95 points. Shares in the big four banks fell today despite a week of strong trade. Some investors sold out of health researcher CSL, which fell 4%. The dollar, there it is, buying 66.63 US cents. The price of unleaded petrol still falling across Sydney. It's $1.04 a litre on average, but there's some better deals on offer. It has been selling for under 95 cents at Granville Power Fuel. Another Australian fashion house has collapsed with the future of hundreds of stores and more than 1,000 staff unknown. The Paz Group is behind a bunch of established brands, including Review, Yarra Trail and Jet Swimwear. Administrators say the business will continue to trade where possible as they work to restructure that group. A revamped campaign urging Aussies to buy locally made products could help businesses get back on their feet. It's aimed at consumers, but the unions say government should also heed the message.
A true blue. The Buy Australian campaign was all over our TVs in the 1980s.
You are helping a mate, and you are helping Australia.
Now, a revamp encouraging us all to put our dollars back into our own pockets.
It's never been more important to buy Australian than right now.
It's taken a situation like the one we find ourselves in to perhaps open our eyes and realise that we still have a wonderful set of skills here on our doorstep.
Something the unions want governments to realise. Researchers found using wholly Australian-made products on projects could create 53,000 jobs, injecting $3.5 billion into the economy.
Every time we have our steel, our aluminium, our glass, our concrete, that's got to be sourced from Australia so that Australian jobs go first.
The manufacturing sector has been in decline for years. For some, the pandemic accelerated the losses. National packaging company ProPack is the latest to close its stores, shutting down manufacturing at its Chester Hill plant in a bid to save around $7 million a year, a decision that will put 60 blue-collar workers out of a job, but one they say is not related to the pandemic. Some of the companies in the original campaign, including Ansett and Ford, are long gone. It's hoped this new call to arms will help the manufacturers we still have avoid their fate. Brian Seymour, 7 News.
The Australian War Memorial will reopen its doors to the public on July the 1st. Visitors will need to book timed tickets to ensure social distancing can be maintained. Other safety measures include enhanced cleaning and hand sanitiser stations. Visitors will also be asked to move in one direction throughout the memorial. The road out of the coronavirus crisis will see fierce competition from retailers still to come, lower prices and years of interest-free repayments. What you need to know, though, to find the best offer for your budget. Don't miss that story soon here on 7 News. But first, Jim is here with sport. Jim, good evening to you.
G'day, Michael.
Big game last night. The NRL gets a big thumbs up.
It was terrific last night, Michael. Good evening to you. Evening, everyone. Coming up, the 6 again rule worked, as did the one referee. The footy is back, everyone, and we've got all the big news and highlights, including the Eels' flying start to the season restart, while Bronson Xerri considers his legal options. Exclusive details next. And we've got the very latest on cricket and the English Premier League's plans to get back to business.
Grand final week is here.
Their 60s house is about to be restored and reinvented.
Can you imagine what it's going to look like inside? Nope. Are you ready? Let's do it.
The 1960s is reimagined. A transformation so stunning it will leave them speechless.
Oh my God!
Grand final week begins Sunday at 7.
If you're struggling to balance work, life and family, you need to shake it up. Ensure Health Shakes help you get the nutrition you need to help your body build strength from within, with a prebiotic and antioxidants to support a healthy immune system, calcium and protein for muscle and bone health. Put more balance in your work-life balance. Shake it up with Ensure.
With Toyota Warranty Advantage covering you for at least 5 years, still feeling it, Mick?
Toyota value stays with you, like Kluger 2-wheel drive GX Auto. Drive away from $41,990. Older feeling. Toyota.
With 100% of your daily vitamin C, go for gold with a zest-free Sun Gold kiwi fruit. Make your healthy irresistible. Zest-free. When life gives you messiness, Godfrey's Stocktake sale gives you cleanliness. Ecovac D-Bot 600 Robot, $299, save $100. iVac Steam Mop, $59, save $40. Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Good, I've missed it.
These home loan applications are impossible.
We should try St George. It's an online application.
Oh, and helps just to tap away.
It's a St George thing.
Apply for your loan without leaving home. Search St George Home Loans.
What can you get at Kogan.com? You can order pizza, cook pizza, wear pizza, hug pizza, swim with pizza, sleep with pizza. Okay, too much pizza. Get it quick smart at Kogan.com.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt excellence. By the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Get more from your same race multi with Ladbrokes. For the first time, Ladbrokes Same Race Multi allows you to combine picks from the same thoroughbred harness or greyhound race to get even greater odds. Ladbrokes. Back yourself.
This sports report is brought to you by Ladbrokes. Back yourself.
Welcome back, everyone. Disgraced shark Bronson Xerri has made his first public appearance since testing positive to performance-enhancing drugs. 7 News was there as Xerri and his parents met with lawyers this afternoon as he faces a lengthy suspension from the game.
Dressed in a hoodie and flanked by his parents, it's the first time Bronson Xerri had ventured out of the family home in Menai since his positive drugs test. He's considering all legal options as he faces a multi-year ban. The 19-year-old is now anxiously awaiting the results of his B sample before he knows his fate. His coach spoke today about the week from hell for the Sharks.
Like everyone else at the Sharks, I was very shocked and extremely disappointed.
Morris is concerned how long the process took.
What happens if someone tests positive this weekend? What would happen if we found out in 6 months' time after the grand final?
The Eels arrived back from Brisbane in the early hours of this morning on a chartered flight. Para was unstoppable and the 6 again rule resulted in a try in the opening minutes.
Fedney gets a glimpse of the line and gets all the way.
The action was fast and furious. Micah Sivo's finishing was simply breathtaking.
Jennings, the grey goes to Sivo!
Brad Arthur is all about keeping a lid on expectations.
There's still 17 games before we get to the finals. We've just got to be able to back this performance up.
23-year-old Troy Dargan will have plenty of family support tonight as he debuts for Souths against the Roosters, replacing the suspended Cody Walker.
It's a huge day for your family. What are the nerves like? Yeah, not good. And this has been going on for about, a couple of days now.
Parents Troy Sr. and Wendy are his biggest fans. They'll treasure the moment when he arrived home this week after his selection.
As we seen him walk up the driveway, we knew at that moment that we knew at that moment that this is why he worked so hard. It was because he was happy. And that's all that we had asked as his parents, is for him to be happy.
Michelle Bishop, 7 News.
Yeah, good luck to the Dargans. Before the Roosters and Rabbitohs clash tonight, we've seen a bearded Jason Taumalolo and the 6 to go rule lead to another game-opening try.
Holmes, yes, Hampton, he gets over.
The pass from Val Holmes was a beauty for the Cowboys to lead the Titans 6-0. It's lightning fast, it's entertaining, and one of the reluctant flu vaxxers, Brian Kelly, hit back for the Gold Coast. But North Queensland was the slightly better team in the first half, and they lead 14-6 at the break. Let him get the ball down. Well done, well played, thank you. A lot of sceptics said they couldn't pull it off, so the coaches have great pride in their players for making the restart happen so soon.
Our sort of parameters are a lot different to, I guess, everyone that walks around the street. We're still quite under a very heavy regime. Rugby league, I guess, hasn't probably been in that position over time, and to see us leading the way through many, that it was great to see.
And every coach we heard from today loved what they saw from the one referee and the 6 to go rule changes.
Back to the old days where we saw a lot of free-flowing attack, second phase football. The talented, skillful player really had a great opportunity.
In team news, the Sharks included Matt Moylan in their 19, hoping he can face the West Tigers at Bankwest Stadium tomorrow. Teammates say Lance Franklin is shattered, but there's no chance his legendary AFL career is over. The Swans train with our buddy today after confirmation he suffered a significant hamstring tear just before the season resumes on June 11. At 33, there are some fears it could finish Franklin.
I don't know who's thinking that, but yeah, he'll be back for sure. He's the champion of the game, one of the, if not the greatest player of all time. If people are writing him off, good luck.
Franklin missed 13 games with 2 hamstring injuries last year, and this one is rated slightly worse. The English Premier League will restart on June 17 with Aston Villa playing Sheffield United and Manchester City versus Arsenal. The league has been on pause since mid-March, with Liverpool just 2 wins away from clinching their first title in 30 years. Cricket Australia has formally requested to postpone this year's Men's 2020 World Cup and host the one scheduled for India in October 21 instead. The request was leaked to Indian press, forcing the ICC to cancel a board meeting before discussing it.
A lot of complexity for the ICC to deal with. The ICC is juggling a lot of balls there and looking at the windows that are possible over the coming years.
Well, that news broke as Cricket Australia released the full summer fixtures, starting with Zimbabwe's one-day tour in August and including 4 tests against India in Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne and Sydney. So the cricket's not far away on 7, racing tomorrow. The AFL starting June 11. Of course, the Rugby League is back. I'm so happy live sport is returning.
It's cranking up and you're a happy man,
Jim.
I'm
very happy.
Good on you. All right, thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Well, if you're hunting for a fridge or maybe need to upgrade your TV, there's never been a better time to go shopping. Retailers are making it easier than ever, offering huge discounts and major deals, including payments with 0% interest for 5 years.
With restrictions easing and buyer confidence returning, stores are fighting for your dollar. For the first time in years, offering huge price reductions and longer to pay off your purchase.
It's plus 60 months interest free.
Major retailers giving you equal monthly repayments for 5 years by cutting out the banks. Among the popular options right now, Harvey Norman, The Good Guys, JB Hi-Fi and Domain.
It's made it easier for retailers to reach customers and then made it easier for customers to make those deals and spread out their payments.
The interest only kicks in at the end of the fixed term and it's not cheap. Experts encouraging buyers to stay organised and pay on time each month.
If you don't meet your obligations under that financial contract, you can see yourself get negative marks on your credit record.
The short and medium term lending industry right now has some competition with big players from the tech and online space entering the market to offer deferred or delayed purchase payments. Among them, tech giant Afterpay. Purchases split into multiple payments, offering access to just about anyone.
There's no need to have a credit check. All you need to do is to download the app.
With so many options on offer, it seems now is a good time to shop. Cameron Price, 7 News.
OK, Sally's back now. Sal, are there clear skies ahead?
Michael, we've got a few showers to wrap up the working week, but the weather is warming up on the weekend. Sydney's forecast is next.
I'm on the way to Darwin.
You a mad bastard for doing this?
Michael Caton on an unforgettable road trip. Last cab to Darwin, tonight on 7.
Right now, businesses are facing their toughest challenges. Get advice and inspiration from other local businesses on cash flow, marketing and managing staff. Get the support you need at businessaustralia.com.
Meet the crew. They got their own way of betting. And this is me. I've always got the answer.
Make this NRL season one to remember. If your team leads at halftime, you win. That's right. Lead at the half and we'll pay you out straight away as a winner. PointsBet.
Get into The Good Guys for big bonus buys. Bonus up to $1,000 pay less payback on a huge range of TVs. Plus, get hot buys on Samsung TVs, hot buys on LG TVs, and hot buys on Hisense TVs. Pay less every day only at The Good Guys.
Harvey Norman has everything you need for your home. Come into our spacious stores for the best of Australian made. Choose Australian made timber and fabric beds and customise the fabric, colour and timber stain to suit your home. Our range features the best names in Australian made mattresses and ensembles. Sealy, Sleepmaker, Beauty Rest, King Coil and Body Balance. Complete your sleep experience with beautiful Australian made Manchester. Support local manufacturers and choose Australian made. Everything you need for your home. Browse online and shop in store. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go! At Nature's Own, we know that fatigue can be either physical or mental. Nature's Own sleep and energy range can help you improve the quality of your sleep or support energy production throughout your day.
Your body's hot!
Nature's Own. Be body smart.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is on. Get great value across our eye-catching range. Like the Hyundai i30 Hatch with the confidence of a 7-year warranty. And end of financial year bonuses on selected SUVs, including the Hyundai Tucson. And 7-seat petrol V6 Hyundai Santa Fe. Hyundai's end of financial year sale. See it to believe it.
Some people might see superannuation funds as a sea of sameness. But some super members belong to a fund that's dedicated only to them. Sun Super's stress-tested investment strategies have delivered strong long-term returns that have beaten the industry average over 3, 5, 7 and 10 years. Join our 1.4 million members and feel the strength of Sun Super.
Do it, baby.
It's on, mate.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get best tote on all exotics on every race across all Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Adelaide races. PointsBet.
Isolation has inspired a revolution.
Aussies have bought 8.5 million punnets of seedlings.
But getting them to produce can be tricky.
I'm going to give you some tips.
Luckily, you have Graham's wealth of knowledge.
Your backyard supermarket is open for business.
New Better Homes, next on 7.
Tonight's 7 News headlines. Anarchy in Minnesota. Rioting crowds torture police station over a black death in custody. The military has now arrived. Zookeepers expected to survive a lion attack mauled by 2 animals at Shoalhaven Zoo. More than 370,000 people will be refunded as the government abandons its controversial robo-debt scheme for Centrelink recipients. And legendary broadcaster Alan Jones hangs up the headphones, retiring from radio after 35 years on air. Now, here's Sally with the weather.
Thanks, Michael. Well, we've seen a few showers cruise across Sydney today, although it was very patchy and most suburbs missed out. The city today, though, reached a top of 15.9 degrees. That was pretty late in the afternoon, just before 4 o'clock. We saw a low this morning just under 12 degrees. Now, across the suburbs, a little bit of a difference in temperature. Penrith saw a lot more sunshine today and also calmer winds, reaching a top of 20 degrees. A lot cooler along the coast, 16 degrees at Manly and also at Canterbury, and that was just thanks to those showers in the cloud. On the satellite, southerly winds are just driving showers up the New South Wales coast and also just into the southeastern pocket of Queensland. Tomorrow, the bulk of the weather across New South Wales will largely be dry, and that's thanks to this high-pressure system here that's just planted across the state that's going to clear up most of our skylines. Let's have a look at around the capital cities. For tomorrow, Brisbane heading for sunny skies, tops of 24 degrees. It'll drop below 0 tonight in Canberra, with a bit of frost expected just to start the day off, and then warming up to a top of 15 degrees. Windy in Melbourne at times too tomorrow as that front moves through, 17 degrees there. Adelaide heading for 19 degrees and just a light shower or two. While in Perth, we can expect a top of 18 degrees tomorrow. Taking a closer look across New South Wales, onshore winds will keep showers just falling around that Byron Bay right through to Tweed Heads area. Also some morning fog in the Hunter, including for Newcastle, before tops of 21 degrees there. Also will be a touch of fog across parts of Sydney tomorrow morning, including for Liverpool, Penrith, Richmond and Campbelltown. While along the coast, we can expect tops of 20 degrees at Manly and 19 degrees at Terry Hills. On the water tomorrow, norwesterly winds gusting around 25 knots on a 1 metre swell. The city tonight will drop down to 11 degrees. We've got sunny weather for the bulk of our Saturday, heading for tops of 20 degrees. Looking ahead, sunny skies for our Sunday, warming up to 21, staying dry on Monday with tops of 22 degrees. Those temperatures will just dip down into the high teens again on Tuesday. Very slight chance of a shower along the coast, but it'll be a blink and you miss it kind of event. So all in all, Michael, it looks like pretty much sunny skies ahead.
That is okay. Bit chilly overnight, but that's okay. All right, Sal, thank you. That is 7 News for this Friday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Michael Usher from all the team here. Thank you so much for your company. Have a great Friday night.